It's January 2004 and I have the privilege of interviewing David Peter Gray, Digby Gray, who was a member of the crew of the HMAS Perth and subsequently became a prisoner of war of the Japanese in the Second World War. Digby, thank you very much for agreeing to the interview today.
My pleasure.
I wonder if you could tell us what motivated you to join up. Was it a voluntary thing or was it something?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. At the time the war was not going very favourably as far as the Allies were concerned, and it was a case of everybody having to jump in and have a go. And of course, as I became of age, I went down to Fremantle and saw the bodies down there, and then was duly called up in January 41.
And you say as you became of age, what age were you when you enlisted?
I was called up when I was, just short of 18. As a matter of fact, my first 2 pays were as a boy at 2 shillings a day.
Did you have to have your parents' consent to enlist at that age?
Oh yes, yeah.
And you readily obtained
Oh yes,
that?
yeah.
Now, where did you train before you ended up being in the area of Southeast Asia?
We did our training, some in Fremantle, but at Flinders Naval Depot.
Yes. Now, let's go forward now to January, February 1942, and the vessel that you're on is torpedoed. Is that recollection vivid in your memory?
Yes, it's a very, very stark memory, that one.
Yes. Now, how did you get ashore on Java?
I didn't actually get ashore. We found out when we got into the water that there's a current, a very strong current, which runs through some of the straits, and this flows at the rate of about 4 to 5 knots. And of course, if you're swimming in the water, 4 to 5 knots against you makes it pretty hopeless. So it was a case of go with the flow, if you like, go with the way the current was going. And it was quite surprising that there were quite a series of little islands in the area, and you could be almost up to an island and could put your feet down and start looking for ground, and suddenly you were around the island. It was as quick as that, flashed you around the island. Eventually I was picked up with a bundle of others onto a Jap destroyer, and I must say that the Jap sailors, whilst there wasn't much they can do, because on a destroyer there's not an awful lot of room, equipment or anything else, but they did give us, or clothes had to be discarded, and they gave us these G-strings which we became very familiar with later on, and 2 little packets of sweet biscuits. They weren't packets, they were in little cotton bags, and that would have been quite a big sacrifice as far as the crew was concerned, because there's quite a bundle of us got picked up. But we were transferred almost immediately onto the Sondong Maru, which was a transport ship and had been part of the landing force that we had hopped into. They put us on board there, and that had been accommodation, of course, for their soldiers, etc., that they brought with them. But we stayed on the Somnong Maru for a few days, about a week, and then they transferred us to Serang, which is on the western end of Java, and took us to the jail and the picture theatre. I finished up in the picture theatre with a bundle of others, of course, but that was it was a pretty horrendous sort of operation, because the picture theatre had no seats in it. It was just tile floor, and the tile floor was your seat, your bed, everything. And that was where you learned how to sleep on very hard, unforgiving surfaces.
Yes. Now, apart from the G-string, just what other personal effects did you have?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We came direct from fully into action, and in the water in a matter of minutes.
Yes.
So what you didn't have on you, of course, was lost.
Lost. Certainly, I understand that. And was your ship's doctor? Did he survive, or?
Stenning, yes, Dr. Stenning.
Right.
Yes. He finished up in the theatre with us. He actually was also on the Somnong Maru, and for what he could do, he treated people who had wounds and that sort of thing. And when we were in the theatre, of course, he carried on doing the same thing, treating those who had wounds, and soon to be, of course, sores of all sorts and that sort of thing.
What about your sick berth attendants? Did any of them survive?
Oh yes, there was 3 survived. Andy Mitchell, Jock Cunningham, and there's one other. I'll come to him afterwards. But they survived, and they all were excellent nurses, very good.
And Jock Cunningham's still in Perth, isn't he?
I'm not quite sure where Jock is. No, he's not in Perth.
Isn't he?
No.
I must think Jim Cunningham, is that the same one?
Yeah, we only knew him as Jock.
Yeah, you were born in Scotland anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,